What is going on, guys? Back in with another video, and I got to spend some time with the PLAUD AI Smart Transcriber. And my takeaway from it is this thing is either going to be a student's best friend or it's going to be the Scumbag 9000. So this device, it literally transcribes all speech to text, and it doesn't matter in what setting you could be. You could be in a lecture hall, you could be talking to someone about even basic and benign conversation, and it's just going to take that entire conversation and transcribe it and can even summarize it, and then you can also do fun things that even give you a mind map. But before I get into all the intricacies of the device, if you're not subscribed, just make sure you subscribe just so you can stay tuned to more videos like this. So the plot node is a very interesting device. So starting off, I mean, it's very tiny. Like if you weren't the wiser, you'd think that this is just one of those like high-tech advanced like debit cards that someone's trying to show off, or it's so tiny that you couldn't even make it out from an ordinary credit card. So that's one of the positives that I like about this device to begin with, is that it really isn't one that's going to take up a lot of space, whether you want to put on your phone as I have, or you want to put it in your pocket. Now, so one of the things that I really appreciate is they also included a magnet. Now, all phones, especially all phone cases, aren't magnet capable like mine was. So I thought it was going to be a little funky for me. I thought I would have to use the device without my phone case, which would be a little inconvenient if you don't have a case that has magnet, right? But they did include a small magnet, so that's appreciated. And once you put the device on there, it's really cool. Now, this is one of those devices that it's works better in real life than it sounds on paper, right? On paper, it's just, okay, well, this is just a device that transcribes things. Great. But in real life, like, it actually is a really fun device. Like, when I used it for the first time, I was just, just chopping it up and just talking about basic stuff that didn't even make any sense. And then to see what it did at the end, to summarize the conversation about sausages and hot dogs and just put it in a way that it looked really neat and really smart in 12-point form. It kind of blew me away. So I played with it a couple more times, and the more you use it, the more you see why it really is a fun device to have. But not only that, but it can really be an important device. So say you're starting university and you're in a lecture hall, this thing could actually take notes from what your professor is teaching and then transcribe it. And then not only that, but it'll capture the most important parts and even summarize the things that are going to be most important to you. So at the same time, and then another positive about this device is it's not only just for transcribing like in-person calls, but you could also like record phone calls, or at this point you could even record Zoom calls if you have the phone app installed on your phone. And it's one of those things that at first you'll think, okay, this is just a gimmick, like it's not really going to be that useful. But the more you use it, the more you realize how important it could be, especially if you're taking notes. And it's one of those things that kind of makes you think twice. It's like, okay, well, one, it's Chat GPT infused, but do I really need Chat GPT to take my notes in class, or do I really need it if I want to take an overall summary of the interview that I had a few minutes ago? But then once you get to using it, the practicality becomes evident. As for the battery life, it has a 30-hour battery life, which is ample enough. And I can record continuously for up to 30 hours, which I don't know if you really are going to be using it for 30 hours straight, but who knows? I don't know what type of meetings y'all have. But at the same time, it also has 64 gigabytes, which is ample enough, right? Like, these are audio recordings, and it's not going to be large files unless you're recording things for multiple hours. But once you really record them, they're not really going to take up that much space. So you have ample space to record as many meetings that you can transcribe as possible. And not only that, but you can have them summarized, and then you can go home, study better, or maybe go home, read the interview, and then just see where you went wrong. And just the little things like that, that will just cap it. And just the little things that will just stand out once it's transcribed, just to show you what the most important parts of the lecture or the interview were. It has voice to text speech. I was using it in English. It has voice to text speech, and I was using it in English. And from my using, I didn't even notice any mistakes, which is kind of crazy, right? Like, sometimes even if you're using your iPhone and let's say you're recording an audio message and you're trying to get it to transcribe your words, sometimes it doesn't get everything right. Like, you see some words are either slurred or there's a mistake, or you think you pronounced one word when in reality you're trying to pronounce another. But with these, when I was using it, I didn't notice it. I didn't notice like the little mistakes. So the audio is really good at just transcribing over, and they do a good job of making sure the app kind of like grabs everything that it needs to just to make sure that the audio is as clear as possible for it to transcribe to. And that's one thing I also knock some companies for, especially for smartwatches. When it comes to the apps really are buggy, or sometimes they just flat out suck. But this one, the app, it's very smooth. It's one of those apps that you really don't need to like figure out just to learn how to use it. The best part about this thing is it's one press record. So bottom line of this device is when I first looked at it, I thought maybe it was just gonna be something that I'd use for a couple days, little while, and then maybe just get over it. But the more I use it, especially thinking about all the lectures that I potentially have and everything else going on, like the usability of this thing just skyrocketed for me, especially after getting to you. This is one of those things where it's like watching it through a video, you kind of get the gist of it, but using it hands-on in person gives you a whole totally different experience than you would just like sitting behind a screen and just watching a video about it. So in my personal opinion, I definitely see myself using this going on to the future and even beyond that. Like it's a really great device. Like it's really good and accurate at transcribing. Top that, it has multiple languages, 59 languages that you can transcribe with. So if you don't speak English, maybe you're fluent in French, Espanol, my Dutch people out there, whatever language you speak, then you can also use this and transcribe your lectures or your meetings or even just conversations that you have with friends. In my personal opinion, it's a really fun device. It's not one that takes up a lot of space, and it's really cool. And you can even just show off and have fun with your friends and people around you. But at the end of the day, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. I'm JEDIJA. I'm out.